What are you doing in my yard?
I was just picking up my football.
Leave that ball here. That's it. I'm calling the police.
r/entitled parents. Our first story we'll be reading today. I quickly hop into entitled mom's yard to pick up my football, and she goes crazy and calls the police because I stole her baby's toy. From user L Gappies, youtube.com/GappiesLego. After that, entitled mom wants me to do her work because I do it for an elderly lady. From user Wolfguard087. And after that, entitled mom demands that we change our attention to her and her kid. From user Raging R. And then we'll be wrapping up with my entitled parent is a jerk father. From user I am an ugly pony 78. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us enjoy your stories. And if you're an author who would like to hear your story on the channel, please share it with us over at the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And welcome to the newest members of the Re-Army, Ron, Dr. Prickly, and R. Moonton. And if you're new, join the Re-Army by subscribing for new stories from Reddit every single day. I quickly hop into entitled mom's yard to pick up my football, and she goes crazy and calls the police because I stole her baby's toy. On mobile, and English isn't my first language, so I will make a lot of spelling mistakes. So this story might be a little long. I don't know what you find long, and I tried to mostly capture the conversations. I forgot a few things, so I just made it like how I remembered it the most. Too long didn't read at the bottom. This happened not too long ago, and some backstory. I have a medium-sized yard, and the fence between our and our neighbors' yards isn't very big. It's pretty easy to just hop over. Cast, we've got me, OP, Mortal Ender Dragon. We've got brother, my little brother. My mom. We've got the entitled mother, who is the entitled neighbor. We've got the neighbor's son. We've got police officer 1 and police officer 2. So, some time back I was playing football, soccer, with my brother in our yard. Then I accidentally kicked the ball over the fence into my neighbor's yard. The fence isn't that high, so I just hop over it. I see the ball lying on the ground like a few meters away, so I just pick it up and walk back. But that's when entitled mom comes in. Apparently, entitled kid saw me and called entitled mom.
What are you doing in my yard?
I was just picking up my football.
You disturbed my precious baby.
Note, I'm not good at guessing ages, but he was at least 6 years old.
Leave my baby's toy here, you thief.
Pointing at my ball. But it's my ball.
It was in my yard, so it belongs to my baby now. You are too old for that anyway.
I was playing with my little brother.
No excuses. Leave that ball here, or I'm calling the police.
Calling the police? For what? Because I picked up my ball that accidentally got into your yard?
Stop screaming! You are being a bad example for my baby.
But we were just minding our own business.
That's it! I'm calling the police.
Then she goes back into her house and takes her son with her. I go back into my yard, give the ball to my brother, and tell everything to my mom. She gets mad. Not much later, the door rings. My mom opens the door. And there are 2 police officers and the entitled mom with her son. I thought she was just bluffing, but she actually called the police. Excuse me, ma'am. Can you tell me what happened?
I already told you what happened. He was trespassing.
Calm down, ma'am. We'll take it from here. My mom tells me what happened while me and my brother watch back.
Liar! She is lying. Her kid was harassing my baby.
What do you mean, Mom? OP didn't do anything to me.
Calm down, sweetie. You go back inside. Mummy will take care of this.
Is it true what he said, ma'am?
No, he is still in shock from what happened.
He doesn't look really shocked to me.
Well, he is. Now, what are you waiting for? Arrest that little jerk and her little brat.
My mom was like, "What did you just call me and my son?"
How dare you talk to me like that?
Calm down, the both of you. So your son accidentally kicked his ball over the fence and hopped over to pick it up. Yes, that is exactly what happened.
She is lying. Don't listen to her. Her little brat infiltrated my yard, stole my baby's toy, and harassed him. And he is being a bad example for my baby. I want them banned from this city immediately.
I was expecting what was going to happen, so I quietly told my brother to get the ball from our yard. He came back very quickly with the ball. I showed it to my mom, and she already knew why I brought it here. Police Officer 1 sees it too and asks, "Well, do you have any proof that it is your property?" Before entitled Mom could say anything, my mom gave the ball to Police Officer 1. "Ma'am, his name is clearly on it."
Lies! He quickly just wrote his name on it.
"It couldn't have been recent. It's already a bit rubbed off."
They planned all of this. Filthy thieves!
My mom quickly opened her phone and went to her photo gallery and showed them a not too old photo of me and my brother playing soccer. And the ball on the picture was the same yellow ball as the one Police Officer 2 was holding right now. And then neighbor's son came back outside.
Sweetie, what are you doing outside? I told you to stay inside. It's too dangerous out here with criminals like this brat who tried to hurt you.
But Mom, he didn't do anything to me. I saw a ball flying over the garden, and he just came to pick it up. He didn't touch me. Also, Mom, I'm very hungry. You told me you would make dinner by 6 p.m.
Go back inside. Mom is trying to get you your toy back.
But I don't even like soccer. I don't even want a ball. I'm just very hungry.
Go back inside now, or you'll go to bed with no food.
Neighbor's son runs back inside, crying and saying that he's hungry. Everyone was a bit shocked. "All right, ma'am. I'm going to have to ask you to come with us."
You can't tell me what to do.
Police Officer 1 takes entitled Mom with him to the car. "Sorry about the inconvenience." "It's no big deal. Thank you for taking her away. She was getting on my nerves." Police Officer 1 rides away, while Police Officer 2 watches neighbor's son for a bit until his dad came home. Me and my mom go back in, and me and my brother continue playing soccer. And we tried to kick the ball as high up as possible, causing the ball to land into entitled Mom's yard very often. Then we raced and tried to catch it as quick as possible, since entitled Mom wasn't there. We kept doing this for a while because it was much fun. Yes, we kind of abused it, but we don't do it anymore. I don't know what happened to the neighbor, but she didn't complain anymore. Next we've got, entitled Mom wants me to do her work because I do it for an elderly lady. This is my first post in this sub, and I hope it won't be too long. Background. Me and my significant other live in a 7-apartment block. We lived here since 2011 and saw a bunch of neighbors come and go. We both work on 4 shifts in different companies, which means we work on Saturdays and Sundays, but we have all our free time together. The block is in the old town of our home city, which means tight roads and sometimes bad smells. In my home country, there is a law that every house owner has to shovel snow in front of their house or apartment off the sidewalk, because if someone slips on your sidewalk, this can be serious trouble for you. Our landlord made an agreement with us. We are 7 apartments, and in the winter months when it's freezing, on each day of the week, one of the residents has to shovel snow from the sidewalk. Since we moved in, it worked mostly out. One of our residents here is a nice elderly lady, which is very nice, sweet, but also pretty sick. Because of her condition, she couldn't keep up over years with the agreement, so being a nice guy, I offered to take her part as well. She offered me money for compensation, which I refused. I didn't do it for the money. But when she is baking something, she always brings us a cake or cookies. Because of the shift, I do it in the early morning, before morning and late shift, or after night shift when I return home. This worked well for the last 5 to 6 years, and there was no problem. Until last year. Enter entitled Mom, her husband, and her 2 kids. They moved into the apartment next to us last year in August. Well, the kids can be loud sometimes, which is okay, because, kids. Entitled Mom and her husband, on the other hand, well, I met the husband only 2 to 3 times since they moved in, and he was drunk all the times and wore joggings. I met the entitled Mom a few times too, and she always looked down at me, like I was something lower than her. From what I know about them, they both don't work, because they are either at home or at some pub or cafe while their kids are at school. Sorry for the long background, onto the story. This happened last year in the middle of December. Pretty lame, I know, but entitled mom must have watched me for some time. This is important later. I just came home from my last night shift around 7 a.m. Sunday morning. This is important because in the last night shift, we have to clean our machines and it's pretty rough if you're alone. We are a 2-people team usually. I was alone the whole shift and had to do the cleaning alone. My significant other texted me that she was doing some overtime, so I had the bed for me alone. I only wanted to sleep and headed right for my apartment. I go inside, undress, shower, and went straight to bed. About 1 hour later, just as I was in a good sleep, I hear my doorbell ring. Still sleepy, I slip into some pants and open the door. For our cast, we've got the entitled mother, the landlord, and me. Entitled mom stands in front of me, tapping with her foot, arms crossed and a sour look on her face. Good morning. Can I help you? I hate being woken up, but still try to be polite. Entitled mom in a demanding voice.
Why haven't you shoveled the snow off the sidewalk?
It took a second for me to know what she meant. To prevent this kind of arguing, the landlord sets up the days for each resident on which day they had to do it. He would circle around every year so residents didn't do same days over and over. Because I did it for a nice elderly lady as well, I had been assigned Tuesday and Friday. The list gets put on the blackboard in the block entrance. Also to point out, Sunday was entitled Mom's Day. I have Tuesday this year, not Sunday.
So what? I saw you do it on Friday too, instead of nice elderly lady.
That's because she's old, sick, and can't do it anymore on her own.
So what? One more day won't hurt you.
Look, I had a hard night shift and want to sleep. If you won't do it, ask your husband.
No, you will do it, because we want to head out with the kids and have no time for that. So you will do it.
At this point, I had enough, but I had an ace up my sleeve. All right, have fun. Boy, you should have seen the smug smile on her face when she left and thought I would comply. Yeah, right. I waited a few minutes before she, her husband, and the kids left the building. I closed the door and went back to bed. About 5 hours later, and after my significant other came home and went to bed, I was already awake. My doorbell rang again. Lo and behold, our landlord was outside my door. He checks every day if we shovel the snow on the sidewalk. Good morning. Did I wake you? My landlord knows me and my significant other very well and that we work on 4 shifts. No, don't worry. I've already been awake. Good. Say, you don't happen to know where entitled mom and her family are? Nope, no idea. Haven't seen them in a while. Well, it's their turn to shovel snow. They haven't done it, have they? No, they haven't. Well, I got home from night shift and was sleeping. The landlord looked at me with one eyebrow raised. Well, he isn't stupid. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. He smiled. We shook hands and parted ways. 2 weeks later, I had the same night shift again. As I came home, I saw entitled mom shoveling snow. I walked by, smugged, and pointed at the sidewalk. You missed a spot there, and walked inside. I could hear her ranting and dropping the shovel. Never felt so satisfied. Next we've got entitled mom demands that we change our attention to her and her kid. So this happened at a place I used to work at. The place is similar style to Subway, but it has much better food and is much higher quality. A little backstory. We were expecting a party of around 50 people into the restaurant, so we were going to have an exhausting day ahead of us. So you know where this will go. Story. I had just come back from a delivery and put on my apron to start working again. I was in the prep room, basically where everything is prepared to be served, and I was just getting ready for the huge party by getting out whatever we were short of. The party arrived. My manager called out, "Here they come!" And that's when I knew it was going to be heck out there. I start getting everything ready and chopping up onions, tomatoes, etc., and whatever we were short of already. After 30 or so minutes, about half of the party had been served. I'm done with all the prepping, so I decide that the tables need to be cleaned because no one that's out front could do it. I get all the cleaning stuff and start wiping down some of the inside tables. We have outside ones, but no one ever used them, or at least when I was working. I get done with my first table, and I'm about to start the second, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and see entitled mom and her entitled kid, about 12-ish, hovering over me. I was kneeling down because I was getting the cleaners and the towel. If you need a table cleaned, I can do it right now if you want. I stand up.
I don't need a table cleaned. I want to be served right now.
She said in a very condescending tone, like I'm the one who caused all this. Well, as you can see, there's over 20 people. About how many people were left in the party who haven't ordered. In front of you, waiting to be served, and I can't do anything about it.
I want them to step aside and let me order first, and I don't want to do that.
She is so entitled that she doesn't even do her own dirty work. I can't do that, but you can ask them yourself. Entitled mom stomps on over to the line and is asking to cut in front of them. It doesn't work. While she was talking to them, the entitled kid stayed behind, and I talked to him about football because he was wearing a Seahawks jersey. It was nice, until he said this.
Your job is a piece of crap, and I shouldn't take any advice from you.
I gave him tips on how to spot fouls and stuff like that.
I bet my mom could buy this whole establishment because she knows the owner.
She doesn't.
I don't deserve to talk to you. Now go away, poor man.
I got angry, but before I could insult him back, his mom comes over.
Did you have fun talking to this poor man?
I'm getting even more angry.
I loved putting him into place right where he belongs.
Pause of silence.
The poor.
As he looks over at me with a deadly glare, with a crap-eating grin on his face. I get even more angry and about to tear both the entitled kid and entitled mom's heads off, but have to prevent that to prevent me from causing a brawl. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but can you leave this establishment? You are causing an unwanted and an unnecessary scene.
Perfect. Now they can serve me because they all have their eyes on me.
Now has a smile like she just won the lottery. If you don't leave, then I might have the manager remove you from this establishment. This must have set her off.
I know the person who owns this establishment, and I can get you fired.
Ah, classic entitled parents. Do you even know his name?
His name is, John. That's his name.
It's not, by the way, but we did have someone named John working there. Okay, then talk to my manager then, since you know his name. I'm trying not to burst into laughter on how this is going to fail. Entitled mom calls out for John, but gets no response because John wasn't working that day. So one of the other workers heard her screaming this, and they tell her that John is off today, and if this is an important matter, then you'll have to call him, so she requested his phone number. Our company's policy is that you can't give people's numbers to others, even if it's their friends or family. She gets mad and stomped over to me in anger.
Give me his phone number so I can call him so he can fire you.
I can't, because my manager is working up front, and you can see her now, as I point where she is.
That's not your manager. That's just some 18-year-old trying to provide money for her poor family.
Yes, she said that. Why do you think it's not her? I shouldn't have said this, but I did because curiosity.
Because a woman shouldn't be a manager. Because they don't provide good role models for everyone else.
Kind of ironic.
And only a man should run an establishment because they would be nicer to its customers. I want to be served right now.
I don't even know how someone can be like this. The manager finally walks over and asks what's the problem. She explains how I hurt her and threatened her to leave, or else. And of course, the entitled kid agreed with everything and added a few things such as theft. He said I was trying to steal his phone because I was poor. My manager said, "We have security cameras in the back room, so we can check if this is all true." The entitled mom gets super white, but stays calm and says this. She said in a very vulnerable voice,
I just came to get some food for my starving child.
The kid had Ray-Ban sunglasses, a Rolex, and had a really nice pair of Jordans. My anger got to me, finally overflowed, and it decided it didn't want to be contained. You are not poor. Just look at your son. I bet you could sell just his stuff that he is wearing and buy a small yacht. As for you, you are also not poor, because look what you're wearing. You're wearing some glittery high heels that make your flat butt have some curve just to make your husband happy. Don't let me forget your Gucci handbag that I bet you've put your yapping little dog in, just like you. Just so you can get attention because you're just some trophy wife that doesn't get enough attention at home, so you only get it from starting trouble. Sit in your place, you insufferable lady. My manager asks me to go into his office. I thought I was going to be fired for that stunt. She finally gets the entitled mom and entitled kid out and comes back to her office. My manager tells me, I'm sorry for you, but all we will get is a bad review on Yelp or something. I thought you were going to fire me. No, everyone needs to get their anger out at someone, and I liked how you put her in her place. But let's get to finishing this party's order. I'll call you out if I need you, but just stay there for a moment to cool off. All that was going through my mind was that I'm going to get fired today and should start saying goodbye to everyone I worked with. The manager comes back. It was about 20 minutes or so, and I'm sweating bullets. We're done serving the party, and I want you to go home. I think you've been put through enough today. So you aren't going to fire me? Do you want to get fired? No, I'm just curious why you didn't. I don't want to lose you. You are a hard worker that doesn't complain about things and gets the job done. It would hurt the establishment if you were to go away. Also, it would hurt everyone here because they like you a lot. Have a great day and see you tomorrow. Same to you. I leave, and I haven't seen her there up until I quit and even to this day. Thanks for reading and have a wonderful day. And our final story of the day. My entitled parent is a jerk father. What up? I've watched a lot of your videos and love the way Karen is always butting in with her annoyance. I got a story for you, and I'm very, very new. So people, be gentle with me. My dad has always been entitled. I have autism in the middle of the scale, but that made me a victim to his bullying and harassment. Growing up, he's always put me down over the littlest things. I was singing in the church choir, and I thought I sounded okay. But oh no. He thought I needed schooling because I wasn't able to hit a high note. Well, sorry for being nervous on stage, and that made me choke. He's done a lot of mean things to me and my siblings, but the worst was a couple of years after my parents divorced. It was Christmas time. I started getting really interested in my craft work and made a lot of things to give my family members. I made picture frames to look like their windows. Crude work, but I was young. They all loved them. But did my old dad? I'll let you decide. I made one with all my siblings and me in a window frame and made it look cute for him. I even made two with him and I in a window frame. I wrapped it up in what would be called beginner's wrapping and hid it under the tree. Once we got to opening the presents, I waited, excited to see what his reaction was. My mom was with us, so she got to see it too. He opened them and what looked to be a smile, but small. Well, isn't that cute? Entitled jerk of a dad said, making me smile wide. Thank you, I worked really hard on them. I boasted because I was happy to hear that he really liked them. Here's where it got worse, folks. They're adorable, but I was hoping for something paid, then made, Entitled Dad added. Yup, he said that. He really did. I was about 13 or 14 when this happened, so I should have been angry or yelled at him, but because of my autism, it took a while for the words to sink in. You don't like it? No, I do, but I'm not really into this sort of thing. But you did an amazing job, hun. Entitled Dad smiled still at me and placed it at his side on the couch where he sat. I still didn't know how to respond. Maybe I was too preoccupied in the fact it's Christmas and I got some cool stuff that I didn't think of how he responded to my gift. I just sat there quiet and confused, maybe even a little sad. Oh, but this infuriated my mom. My mother was someone you do not want to mess with. Say one thing bad, and she'll turn your life around so fast you won't even realize what horrible punishment you put yourself into. She's very protective of us, and once she heard those words coming out of that jerk's mouth, she was angry. After getting home from Dad's house, we all went to our rooms, or the TV room, either to play with our new toys or watch cartoons. I was in the TV room till I heard my mom scream into the phone in the bathroom. She must have wanted to wait so she wouldn't spoil the fun we were having back at his house and didn't want any of us to hear, but we did. She was screaming about how selfish and inconsiderate he was to say that when I worked so hard for the photo frames. I couldn't hear what the demon was saying over the phone, but it must have been his usual snarky talk that continued to boil my mom's rage. she continued to scream and occasionally cuss at him, which she rarely did, so it was a surprise, till she got what she could out and hung up. Later on, she cuddled me in bed, saying I shouldn't let this bother me, and tried to comfort me the best she could. She always laid down with us to comfort us, no matter how old we were, but nothing too bad. She's a mother and wanted to cheer us up. So for several minutes of calming back rubs and kind words to say to any sad and broken child, she got up and walked out of the room. I continued to cry as his words slowly sank in, and later made me wish to never see him over Christmas time or birthdays. To this day, I still have a hard time making things for those I care about because I'm afraid of what they'll say about it. Most of them are good, but it's still hard for me. You don't even realize sometimes that if something happened in your life that was bad, you think nothing of it till it sinks in and eventually, possibly, ruined your life from then on, which is what he did to me and my siblings over the years till we finally stopped seeing him all at once. He's done more mean things to me. One was how he tried to force me into answering questions about himself for raffle tickets, but that's another story. He still thinks nothing is wrong with him and will get angry if you even say anything about it to him. I'm glad he's out of my life. And if he dies, I'll cry, yeah, but at least the world is done with that entitled jerk. I'm an ugly pony. It really makes me sad that he put you through this, but I'm so glad you don't have to deal with him and his entitlement anymore.
How dare you get your mom an entitled mom t-shirt? Link pinned in the comments.
And congratulations to our re-generals of the day, Corey Smith, Oh Golly, Kale B, and Black Lotus Gaming. That's all for now, but don't be blue. I'll be back soon with more stories for you. Remember to listen to Mr. Reddit every night, so your dreams will be wonderful like you are and bright.